Anything is possible. It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family.
Hi everybody, it's Cindy here with Stampin' Up Creations. So it's Monday. I'm running a little late. I was just away for the weekend with some of my team members. As a thank you to my team, I offered them a weekend away in Bayfield with me. So we spent the weekend at the most amazing cottage right on the water. Beautiful sunset. It was truly incredible. The most relaxing weekend. It was phenomenal. So anyway, I'm just getting back, so a little late doing the video, so my apologies. So this card, I think you guys are going to love. It's going to be a really fun card. It's another great way to use up your scraps. And it actually came from some conversations we were having while we were sitting around relaxing, and I was like, what am I going to do for Mystery Monday? And somebody else was looking on Pinterest and came across this layout, and I thought, oh, that's a fantastic layout. So I thought, let me go back and see if I can actually recreate that. So I did. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So that's how this came to be. There's Miss Maya. So let me know what you think about this. Just so you know, tomorrow, October 4th, there's a ton of promotions hitting the market. So number one, we have a brand new birthday planner kit. It's part of our kit collection. And you get an 8x10 planner with pouches. And you get 12 cards and envelopes, and there's no stamping. So it's a phenomenal kit. It retails for $34. And I will be providing you guys with a hostess code for October, so you can use that. And so then we also have Fill the Bag, which I still need to do for September. So I will do that this week because I'm just getting back. So I have to do Fill the Bag for September for those of you that put orders in. So if you're not familiar with that, check it out on my page. But basically, for every time you place an order with me, for every $50, I will put an item in a bag. And at the end of the month, I will draw from the people who put the order in, and you will win all the contents of that bag. Pretty cool, right? So there's that. The kit collection. There is free shipping tomorrow only for 24 hours. You're going to get free shipping on orders over $100. So what I would suggest is gather a couple friends and get your orders put together and hit that $100 mark. So it has to be $100 before shipping, handling, and taxes, and then get those orders put in. So anytime you can save on shipping is always huge, because Stampin' Up already compensates or offsets the cost for our shipping. So for them to do free shipping is awesome for us, right? So gather a couple of your friends, get some orders put together, hit that $100 threshold, free shipping. Okay. And then obviously if your wish list or your shopping list is over $100, then we need to talk, because there's an incredible recruiting promotion or starter kit promotion starting tomorrow as well. And you will get an extra $40 in your kit. So you get $206, I think it is, in your kit, and you're still only going to pay $135. Actually, you're paying less for your kit because it's normally $165. You're getting $135 for your kit. So it's like total double whammy. So no tax, no shipping if you're in Ontario. So other provinces, that is also the case. But anyway, tons going on. Plus I have my October classes that if you have not registered for, you need to do that ASAP, because, I need to start cutting cardstock. So, all right, enough rambling. Let's get going. All right, so what did I tell you you guys needed? I'm just going to make sure this does not look blurry, because it kind of looks blurry to me. Okay, there we go. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I told you you need your silicone mat. I told you needed an embossing folder. I'm going to use the Christmas Barn one. I've not used my Christmas Barn stamp set yet. You need a piece of card base. So I'm using Cherry Cobbler for this one. I told you you needed a solid die cut piece, and then minimum 8 to 12 pieces of Designer Series paper that were 1/2 inch by 4 1/4. However, what I should have mentioned was if your card is going landscape, it would be by 5 1/2. So my bad for not telling you that. And I did tell you anything that you needed to embellish your card with. I should have told you a tag to put a sentiment on. I did tell you sentiments, but not a tag for them. Some things I assume you're going to know. So this first card, I am actually going to use this Christmas barn. So I know you guys were all shocked that this was my first purchase of the catalog. But I have not actually even touched this set yet. I don't, like, nothing. It has not even been inked up. Like, oh my gosh. But anyway, for this card, I thought it would be super duper cool to use the die cut of the barn. And I might pull out the die cut of the fence. We're going to just see how this looks first. So again, this was a card that was inspired by the weekend, so I'm excited about this. So if you do not have a silicone mat in your regular toolkit, I suggest you get one. It is the best purchase you will ever make. And why do you need one of these? Well, because it actually helps your adhesive not stick to your surface. So it will stick just here, okay? All right, so what we're going to do is I've already gone ahead and die cut my image out. So I've die cut my barn, which I know that's probably not a great card to start with because it's kind of hard to see this, but it's kind of hard to tell what this is. But what I'm going to do is, this is the front of my card. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to lay it down on my silicone mat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my designer series paper and my adhesive, and I'm going to just put a little bit of adhesive here. And I'm hoping my adhesive is working. Okay, my adhesive is not working because I had the lid off that one. I may have to grab one of my adhesives from the weekend. Okay. Oh, here it comes. Now it's going to come. Okay. So here we go. So I'm putting just a little bit of adhesive on either side of my image. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this straight down. And because this is the same size, oh, it might actually be a bit bigger than my image. And I'm not going to worry if this carries over to the sides, okay? Because I'm going to trim this all down afterwards. But what I want to make sure I do is get that so it's right flush with the bottom. I'm going to flip that over and make sure it looks okay. All right. So what pattern did I use there? Okay, the green and holly. So I want to grab a different style pattern. So maybe I'll do this one with the pine. And I'm going to put it... Okay. I should just grab the adhesive I was using this weekend. So frustrating. Okay, hang on. Bear with me. This is live TV, so this is what happens. Oh, sorry. My dog's here, and I just rolled over her. Okay, so here we go. There's my adhesive. Okay, so I'm going with my next strip. Again, I'm just butting this straight up. Now, you can layer these if you want, once you see what I've done here. I think if you're not careful, it might get kind of wonky on you, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do here. Okay, so now that one's dry. I'm going to come in with my red. So I'm picking a different pattern. And can I show you what we're going to end up with here at the end? I'll show you once we're done. So if your paper's directional, please keep that in mind as you're gluing down, because that will affect your card. And if you're using liquid adhesive, guys, it does take a second to dry. So what pattern do I have? What do I have so far? Okay, my pine cones are going upside down. Let's go with this one. Again. So this one I may not maybe need as much paper as I said I did, but that's okay because I'm going to use it for a different card then. Not a big deal as far as I'm concerned. I would rather cut more and be able to make a second or third card than not cut enough. Oops, not cut enough. This is what happens when you use liquid glue. My fingers are all sticky. Not use cut enough and then have to go back and cut more. So this one I only needed 5, right? But I had you cut a lot more. You can probably hear my dog snoring. She's right behind me. We thought we'd give her a treat and bring her with us today because we were away all weekend and she was missing us. Maya and I. Okay, so you can do 2 things here. You could take your paper trimmer and you can trim this down. But because there's very little here, I'm just actually going to use my paper snips. And I'm going to cut that down like that. I'm going to cut this down like that. So I do have extras. That's fantastic. Okay, so this does not look all that pretty, does it? No. Whoops. Maybe I should cut all the paper down off there. Okay, so we're going to let that dry for a second. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I am going to take my embossing folder, which is right here. And I'm using the wood grain embossing folder. And I'm going to put this in here like this. Can you hear my dog snoring? Oh my gosh, she's so loud. And I'm going to run this through my die cut and embossing machine. Oops. Sorry. Being loud and obnoxious over here. Okay. Let me see what we got here. Let's see how this looks. Stuck. There we go. Okay. So this is what I have. Now, if I might put a fence in front of this, actually. Because, only if I could find a piece of brown, that would be fantastic. Okay, I'm going to use crumb cake, not what I wanted. I actually wanted an early espresso or something like that. But I'm going to actually put this fence in front there. So, I was not sure how this card was going to turn out, like this specific shape. So, we'll just have to see. The one that I did as a trial turned out awesome. So, so depending on the design that you're using, you might find ones that you like more than others. Okay, so here's my fence. And of course, I'm going to bring my die back here, because we always put our dies back so we don't lose them. I'm going to put that about there. I don't know if I like this. I might not put the fence on. I might just put it like this and be done with it. Or I might do this. What do you think? I know, because you can hear me talking, right? All right, so I am going to use my fine tip glue. Sorry, I just realized you can't even see me. My fine tip glue. And I'm going to glue my fence. So, do you have fine tip glue in your toolkit? Another really cool item you should have in your toolkit, and you're like, why? Well, because when you get to doing things like this, where it's very dainty, it is a great adhesive to get into all those little spots. Okay, so I'm going to actually put this, I'm going to go about here. I'm going to hold that just for a second because the fine tip does take a second to dry. I'm going to put this back in through here. Oh, come on. Let's cooperate. Come on. I can't see very well. Oh, there we go. Okay. And then while that's doing its thing, I'm going to actually bring in, glue sticking everywhere. I'm going to bring in this stamp set, and I'm going to use Joy on here. So I'm doing this as a Christmas themed one. However, you could do this as, let's do the cherry copper. You could actually do this one as any theme. You could do this as a birthday theme. You could do this as a Christmas. You could do this as a, you know, thinking of you, whatever you prefer. Okay. I was just thinking for Christmas, because we did do a lot of holiday cards this past weekend with my team. So I prepared 6 very fun, intricate cards for them to do, to push us all out of our comfort zone. Okay, so there's that. So then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put this onto my card base. sorry, what am I doing? Put this onto my card base. I was just thinking I was going to put a wreath on the top of this is what I was, that thought crossed my mind here for 30 seconds. Okay. So maybe I wouldn't have done that in white, just in hindsight. So what I might do is I might do something really fun here. Bear with me. This was not in the instructions, but I think this card needs it. So I'm going to take 30 seconds and I'm going to do this. And you guys get to be the lucky ones to watch me. Okay, so I'm going to take my old olive marker. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a baby wipe. I'm going to wipe this off just because I have never used this stamp before. So I should have done that on my Stampin' Scrub is what I should have done. But anyway, I don't have my Stampin' Scrub close to me. So I'm going to take my Stampin' Right marker. Now you cannot do this with your blends, guys. Cannot do this with your blends. It will ruin your blends. So please do not do this with your blends. Sorry, I can't really see what is what here. Well, that made it worse. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, I'm going to do this with my Stampin' Right marker. So you cannot do this with your blends because what happens is that your blends are alcohol based and your Stampin' Right markers are water based. Okay, so if you try to do this with your blends, what will happen is it will actually ruin your markers, your stamps. Sorry, not your markers, your stamps. I'm going to try this. This might actually not work. I may have to do this just in one solid color, but I'm going to try. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp this in green because the stamp is actually intended to be one color. The way the leaf or the bow is, can you see that? Yeah, that's better. Okay, much better. Okay, so then what I could do, so you can see how the bow is intended to be an outline. It's not intended to be a solid. That's why that didn't work with my marker. But what I can do now is, if I was very brave, because I don't know that this marker works very well, I could come in, yeah, see, my marker doesn't work. My fine tip part of this does not work very well. And color this. Actually, if I was smart, I might have done this with my blends, but. So often people ask me, what is the difference between the blend? Let me turn this light off. Sorry, it's kind of bright. What is the difference between the blends and the Stampin' Right markers? And this is the difference. So the Stampin' Right markers are water-based, like I just said. And the blends are alcohol-based. Okay. I feel without the light it's not bright enough, and with the light it's too bright. Anybody else have that problem? Okay, and I just ordered a new light for my desk, so I'm hoping this helps. Okay, let's see. I'm going to cut this out. Just moved on me. Okay. So your Stampin' Right markers do have two tips on them. They have a very fine tip and they have a paintbrush tip. And the fine tip is great for getting into those fine sections, but mine does not work. It's been a long time since I've had that marker. And that end is not working out so well. So, oops, throwing everything around. So this card's turning out to be a little bit more in depth than I wanted it to be, but how cute is this? Okay. Maybe I won't put that at the top. Maybe I'll just put that. If I put it up here, I'm not sure you're going to be able to tell that's a barn, to be quite honest. So I think I'm going to put it down here. Okay, and then you would do the inside. So that's number one. It did not turn out as lovely as I wanted it to, but that's okay because I think with some modifications, I think I could get that one where I wanted it. So I probably would do this in a different color than white. I would probably do it in like a crumb cake maybe. I thought white would be okay, but yeah, I don't like it. Okay, this is weird. Because my red marker is supposed to go up here, and my, green marker is supposed to go here. Okay. Oh, let me put this back. So, while you guys are working away on yours, oh, I should have actually, you know what I should have done? I should have put these posts on each end. Anyway, that's going to be a work in progress, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's number one. Let's go do number two and see if we have any better luck. Okay, so number two is actually another one that's in my head, but not necessarily done. I'm going to use this embossing folder, my silicone mat. This one I'm using Early Espresso paper. This one's not going to be a holiday card. I'm going to use the Aspen dies, which I forgot I even had. And then I'm going to use the Cottage Rose paper. Now, the Cottage Rose paper I'm using because it has the darker colors. And with the trees, I thought this would look really, really cool with the trees. So I'm going to flip this over. So because this is a bigger image, I'm going to probably want more paper. See how this one's definitely, oh, sorry. See how this one's definitely going to go off the paper. Okay, so now this one might be a little bit trickier because I'm trying to focus on the edge here of where to put my glue. And as I get up in here, it might be a little bit tight. So let's just see what we can figure out here. So I'm going to start with this dark brown, making sure that I get to the edge. Oops, come on. Try to keep your paper straight too if you can. Okay. And so it would be helpful if you put your paper in some sort of an order as well. So then you kind of know which one you've done and which one you haven't done. So you're not constantly flipping this over back and forth. So I know I just did this one. So what if I do, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do this light pink first next. So it might be nice if you do like a dark and a light. If you're, you know, doing colors like this one where it's dark and light. The next one I'm going to show you, there's not really going to be a rhyme or reason to the color theme or anything like that, but I'll do this one now. And so again, you can layer these on top of each other so it kind of looks like scaly if you want. But I prefer not to because I think this way then it keeps it nice and flush. And I just want to make sure this is recording. It is. Okay. So then I'm going to go with this one. So I'm scaling back and forth, right? And as you get going, you're going to get more comfortable with the pattern. But again, I'm only using a very, very small drop, you'll see, of paper. Oh shoot, I just messed up my pattern, but it doesn't matter because it's my card and nobody's going to know the difference. But, okay. And then I'm going to come in with this one. So again, find your pattern, whatever that is that you want to do, and just keep it going. Okay, so I think I cut some of my papers on this one different sizes as I'm gluing these down. It appears to me that some are thicker than others, but anyway, that's fine. Nobody would really know. It doesn't change the outcome of the card by any means. So That's fine. And then what I'm going to do is I will run this through the embossing folder once it's all dry, and that will add more texture. So let me see what I have so far. Oh, that looks pretty. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do another pink here. So I encourage you to try this. You guys probably have all sorts of really cool dyes that you can try this with. But I was a little bit more restricted because I realized I don't have that many large looking dies. And again, whatever is left over, we're just going to cut down. Okay, so this looks terrible, I know, but that's okay, because when we go to flip this over, this is what we end up with. Now, I'm going to take my paper trimmer for this one, just because there is quite a bit here. And I'm going to go over to 4 inches. I'm going to try to get over to 4 inches anyway. It's 4 inches right here. I'm going to cut. And you see how quickly that comes off, right? I could have done it with paper scissors with scissors as well, but, and again, at 4, it just comes off in one swoop. And then if I need to, I'm going to trim this down just a hair more. Just to get anything that I didn't get with my paper trimmer. Okay, now what am I going to do? I'm going to run this through my paper trimmer. No, I'm not going to run it through my paper trimmer. Let's try that again. How about we run it through our embossing folder? Okay, and see what we come up with. And again, these are the type of cards that you're going to use up all your scraps, all those bits and pieces that we're not sure what to do with. Wow, that's cool. Okay. Now, where's my base that I need? Let's glue this correctly onto here. Now, what I could actually do as well is I could bring in some crumb cake. I don't actually want to do crumb cake. I'm going to bring in some petal pink. I'm going to actually do this. And what I'm doing here is just kind of breaking up the white a little bit. Just so it's not as stark. And then it just looks a little bit more antiqued. Okay. So yeah, try this with different shapes. Let me see how you make out. I'm always curious to see what your designs look like, because I see you guys using things that I don't normally use or don't have or forget I have or whatever, and then it inspires me to pull it out. Okay, so what am I going to use this one for? How about we use this one as a tag here. I'm going to make this one a thank you card. Or just a note, maybe just a note. Just a note. How about that? Oh, I forgot to put my joy away. Okay, there we go. I'm going to use soft suede on this one. Sorry, I just realized you guys can't see what I'm doing. Okay. And what I'm going to do for this one is, I'm going to bring in my, okay, maybe I will not bring in my linen thread. Okay. This is not what I wanted, but I'm going to bring this in. No, I don't like that's too thick. Okay, we're just going to skip that. I wanted some thin thread to put behind that, but I don't have any. So we'll just have to keep this plain Jane. Maybe add that in later. Okay. And there's your second card. So we have this one, which is our barn. This one, that's our trees. And let's do our last one. This last one is the one that I'm going to love the most. It's the one that I did the trial on. And it turned out great. So the last one is going to be a holiday one. Of course. If I can find where I put my supplies for it. Here it is. Okay. So my silicone mat. This one I'm using Shaded Spruce. I'm going to use the Music Note embossing folder. I'm using the Lights Aglow die and the Lights Aglow paper. Okay, so if you're not familiar with this paper pack, it's amazing. It's glitter on one side and not glitter on the other. Okay, so here we go. This was the one I did the first time and I fell in love with this technique. So the weird thing about this paper pack is that it has white and very vanilla in it, which is not something you see often. Usually it's one or the other. So I'm going to just rotate through between the white, the gold, or sorry, the white, the black, the red. There is green in this paper pack. I didn't have any scraps of the green, so I'm opting to leave that out because I didn't want to cut a whole pack or a whole sheet for just a couple 1-inch strips. So this is where, if you have Love It, Chop It, if you have papers that you've cut for a project and you have little pieces left over, this is what you want to be doing with them. We all have little pieces. Now I'm using from the same suite, but you could actually mix and match your paper packs, right? So I have white, black, red. So if I go back to white, again, come on. Okay, and then black. Come on. Oh, jeepers. My paper just moved on me. So this is why you also want your silicone mat. So white, black, red. So now I'm going back into red. And I am going to use mostly glitter on here, because I love the glitter side, but you do not have to. And again, I'm just making a pattern, but you do not need to make a pattern. You can just go random. I'm going to go back into the white. Again, there's a green, which is really pretty, but I didn't have any scraps for it. But all this paper, Lights Aglow, is glimmery on one side and not glimmery on the other. So if you're not into like the foil, That's okay. You don't have to be. And then of course my red. So I have one extra one here, but that's fine. And I don't have to go all the way, like really what I could do, like I'm just going ahead and doing this like this. But the other thing I want to tell you is you can cut these down as you get going and use those smaller pieces as your image gets more narrow, right? So I don't have to put the full piece back here. I'm just, for simplicity's sake, I'm doing it that way. But if I wanted to just use like a piece like this, let's say, I could, right here. I'm just choosing to do it this way, just for demonstration purposes. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to pretend this is dry. So you see these pieces here, I could very well use those at the top of my paper. See how nice and quick that comes off? So the reason you're putting your glue over here, so this paper is not getting gunky on your paper trimmer, right? The pieces you're cutting off. Look how pretty this is. Now, what embossing folder did I say I was using for this? Oh yes, music notes. Okay. Let's go emboss this and see what we get. So this one is absolutely my favorite. So this is definitely going to be a card I'm going to redo. This one here, because I just love this as a Christmas card. Now, I'm going to glue right here. So to the girls that were with me this weekend, you saw that. I was going to probably end up doing this if it worked. I think the tree works beautifully. I think this one's my favorite. Oh, I could have trimmed that down a little bit more. Shoot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, this is the In Color Glimmer ribbon. So this is the Tahitian, or no, Parakeet Party is what this one is. Okay, I'm going to pull that one, pull that one. My fingers are sticky, so that's not very helpful. Okay. Then I'm going to take my glue dots. Come on. And I'm going to place this at the top of my tree, right there. I'm going to take my bow, place it right there. And there is my card. Now, let's put a sentiment on here. So pretty. I don't even want to cover up the tree. Right? Do 'Tis the Season on this one. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season, right here. Okay. Block. And I'm going to use Shaded Spruce. Or no, sorry, Evening Evergreen on this one. Because I don't have any Evening Evergreen in my card, but that's okay. Fingers are sticky. That's why I don't like using liquid glue. Let's make sure that's straight before we... There we go. It's almost like I knew what I was doing. All right. So I get some stickiness off my fingers. So this is it. This is your card. I want you to post your cards. I want you to see what you guys are doing. 'Tis the season. There you go. This one's my favorite, for sure. 100%. Okay, where's my other cards? Right here. Okay, so here's this one with the barn. Hard to see that this is a barn, right? I get that. Probably not a good choice on this one, to be quite honest, because it's hard to see the outline. But it's the only big one I had. And then this one here, maybe I would have used different papers on this one. Not sure. Not sure. Okay. But this one definitely, by far, is 100% my best. I think this one, I think the patterns are too busy. I think this one needs a much more subtle pattern. Too much going on, I think, on that one. But this one is definitely my favorite. So this is the music note embossing folder. This is the Lights Aglow paper, the in color, and then this is Evening Evergreen. So, yeah, that's it. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that design. I would ask that you please get your pictures posted so that I can see what you guys are doing. And yeah, and don't forget about the classes. If you want to join any of the upcoming classes, they are all on my Stampin' Up page. You can find me at the Linktree link here on my screen. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel and invite your friends to subscribe as well, because the more viewing hours I have, the better it is. And then this can get pushed out to even more stamping friends. So they also see it and participate. Okay, because sharing is caring. All right, thanks everybody for joining me. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Get your pictures posted on my Facebook group or page, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks everybody. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Anything is possible. It started with a dream. Our passion made